Happy Sunday, beautiful people. Happy Sunday. Where is my pen? Oh. Nope. Oh, yes. Alicia, y'all, Betwabu. We on day 166 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Tiffany Sawubona, Yibo Sawubona. Yes, I see you. Yibo, yes, Sawubona, I see you. I acknowledge you. Betwabu, house of the Father. All right, y'all. We are reading Isaiah 13, 14, and 15. Y'all have some words for the king of Babylon. You got a taunt for them. Remember, Yahuwah was telling Israel in the last couple of chapters, he was talking about the unjust judges, but also the promise for Israel when he returns them home to their land. So we're getting more into that, and he has something to say to the king of Babylon after he breaks his power over his people, and we are in that day. That's happened a couple times, but we're in that day again today. All right, y'all. Hold on. Did I say the date? It is Sunday, June the 7th, 2020. Okay, I just had to make myself a note. I always gotta write my notes first. All right, y'all. Isaiah chapter 13. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice of them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahuwah of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahuwah and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Howl ye, for the day of Yahuwah is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the hand of the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart melt, and they shall be afraid. Pangs of sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed at one another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of Yahuwah cometh, cruel both with wrath and with fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, that he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Now, here's something that I don't think people realize when they talk about the day of Yahuwah. For the day of the Lord is come. I think that's said wrong. But people who talk about the day of the Lord or whatever, for some reason, I don't think they really understand what the day of Yah is. The day of Yah is going to be a terrible day. It's going to be a frightful day for those who don't know him or who have rejected his laws and his ways of living on the earth that he's blessed people with. Yeah, it's going to be a very, very frightful day, frightful events for those who completely ignore him. But it's going to be an awesome day for those of us who know him, and we looking for him like, where is you at? Like, we watching. Behold, verse 9, behold, the day of Yahuwah cometh. Listen, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. And I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than a golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the anger of Yahuwah of hosts, and in that day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up, that every man, they shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. Like we're about to see that happen pretty soon. Everybody gonna go back to their own people. Like if you Chinese, you gonna go back to China. Like if you from Mexico, you gonna go back down to Mexico. And if you from Russia, you can go back to Russia. Like all people are gonna go back to their own lands when his day of wrath comes down on Babylon. And it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children shall also be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up Medes against them, which shall not regard silver. And as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Like these people that are coming, they're not going to be able to be bribed, because Yahuwah sent them, and they're coming fiercely. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when Yahuwah overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their foes there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of dull creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant places. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. Isaiah chapter 14. For Yahuwah will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel. Remember, we say who Jacob, everybody. No, Jacob is the descendants of Jacob, because remember, Jacob has since passed on. So when you hear Jacob, or you hear Israel, or you hear Judah, he's talking about the nation, the people, the descendants, the 12 tribes who descend, the 12 sons who descend from Jacob and their descendants. That's who we are talking about when you hear Jacob, Israel, or Judah, okay? And when you hear Israel, it's talking about the 10 sons or the 10 tribes in the northern kingdom. When you hear Judah, it's talking about the southern kingdom, the 2 tribes, Benjamin and Judah. Remember, and Levi. And actually some of Simeon was in the southern kingdom as well. For Yahuwah will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and will set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. Remember, the strangers, those other nations. So you see, you see like other nations, like you see some white people, some Hispanic people, those people that are standing out there with our people. That's what I mean by the stranger and the sojourner among us. Other nations, other people group, other races of people groups are going to stand with us. That's who he calls the sojourner and the stranger among us, all right? Okay. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahuwah for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captive, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. That's self-explanatory. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? Yahuwah have broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. For he that ruled nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. Hey, turn it down, guys. The whole earth is at rest and quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, Since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against thee. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee. Even all the chief ones of the earth it have raised up from their thrones, all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Remember, we're still talking about the king of Babylon and his oppression over Yahuwah's people. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? how thou art cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahuwah, and I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will also ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou wilt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit, that they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, and did shake the kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that openeth not the house of the prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as the carcass trodden under feet. Joshua, is Isaiah in there? Yes. Oh, okay, because I was about to say Joshua's second round today. Guys, I lost my spot. Hold on. Did I read that? Okay, y'all. I'm gonna just go to 17. No, 16. I think I read this. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, yeah, I did. Is this the man that made the earth to tremble? Okay. 19. Thank you, Tiffany. But thou art cast out of the grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones. That go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. That thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith Yahuwah of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahuwah. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with a besom of destruction, saith Yahuwah of hosts. Yahuwah of hosts have sworn, saying, Surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand, that I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. This is a purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. For Yahuwah of hosts have purpose. Who shall stand and disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? In the year that King Ahaz died, was this burden. Rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because of the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. And I will kill thy root with famine, and he shall slay thy remnant. Howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art dissolved. For there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed times. What shall one then answer the messengers of the nation, that Yahuwah hath founded Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it? All right, y'all, last chapter for today, Isaiah chapter 15, and it is only 9 verses. The burden of Moab, because of the night of of Moab is laid waste, and brought to silence, because in the night of Kir of Moab is laid waste, and brought to silence. He is going up to Bajith and to Dibon, the high places, to weep. Moab shall howl over Nebo and over Medeba. On all their heads shall be baldness, and every beard cut off. In their streets they shall gird themselves with sackcloth, on the top of their houses, and in their streets every one shall howl, weeping abundantly. And Heshbon shall cry, and Elale their voices shall be heard, even unto Jahaz. Therefore the armed soldiers of Moab shall cry out. His life shall be grievous unto him. My heart shall cry out for Moab. His fugitives shall flee unto Zoar, and heifer of 3 years old. For by the mounting up of Luhith with weeping shall they go up. For in the way of Horonaim they shall rise up a cry of destruction. For the waters of Nimrim shall be desolate, for the hay is withered away. The grass faileth, there is no green thing. Therefore the abundance they have gotten, and that which they have laid up, shall they carry away to the brook of the willows. For the cry is gone round about the borders of Moab, the howling thereof unto Eglaim, and the howling thereof unto Beerlin. For the waters of Demon shall be full of blood, for I will bring more upon Demon, lions upon him that escapeth of Moab, and upon the remnant of the land. And that, my beautiful people, is our reading for today. That was Isaiah 13, 14, and 15. It is Sunday, June the 7th, 2020, day 166 of reading through the books of the instruction and the prophets. All right, beautiful people. Let's go back to the blessing. Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people, I love y'all. And I will see you bright and early, 7:15 tomorrow morning. Peace.